Hey friends, hope everybody's healthy and staying sane out there as you self-quarantine. Several of you have asked about the pattern for the masks that I'm making, and it's kind of evolved. I'm going to send the pattern, but I'm a visual learner, and so I had to kind of jerry rig it a little bit, and I thought it would be helpful if you're a visual learner too. I'll go through the steps, and I think, get as creative or change it however it makes it easiest for you. The pattern has a basic layout, which I've cut out the pieces, the various pieces, and they have it for a man size, women's size, children's size. I've pretty much stuck with the teenage and women's size. It seems to cover all the bases, but if you want to make larger ones for men, there's the pattern for that. So this is what the pattern looks like. And what I've done is, because I'm cutting out a lot of material, I transferred it over to kind of like a little cardboard stock so that I can kind of roll through and cut more quickly without worrying about the paper. So with each of it, it'll say you want a quarter seam allowance around it, and I basically added that into this layout as well, so I didn't have to make it up as I went. Okay, this is my first video. Be gentle, people. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, so this is what the mask looks like. It's essentially 3 layers. Isn't that sexy? Hey, how you doing? It's 3 layers. We have like a tightly woven cotton outer layer, and then the inner layer is basically iron-on interfacing. You could do this, you could not do it. I just had a whole bunch on hand, so I thought another barrier was good. And then I have the third layer, which is a flannel, and that's where the face will go against. It's just softer, and all of this, hopefully, haven't tried it yet, is washable, which is what you want, because you want the doctors and the nurses to be able to reuse them. So that's essentially it, and then you've got the elastic on the sides. So I'm going to go step by step on how I do it. Okay. So I have the outer layer pattern here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of fold it over so that I'm going to cut 2 pieces. So you're going to need to have 2 of each materials, because then you're going to sew it together. So I just lay it out like this, and I'm going to take the larger pattern. This is the larger outer pattern, and I'm just going to lay it on here, trying to save as much material as I can. So I'm going to just hang it here, lay it here, and I'm going to take my little rotary cutter, but you can use scissors. You don't have to have one of these. And I'm just going to cut along the lines. Boopity boop. This is not a perfect science. I'm a little bit of a hack sewer, so measuring, those kind of things, I sometimes wing it. Okay, so I've got one here, and I'm going to cut it in half, like that. All right. Okay, so that's the outer layer. So you're going to repeat this for both the interfacing and then also the interior layer, which is flannel, or it could be cotton as well. It does not have to be flannel. I just was wanting to get a little bit more of a barrier. So go ahead and repeat those for those 3 pieces of material, and then we're going to head over to the iron. It's fun. Everybody loves to iron. So that'll be our next. One thing I wanted to point out, I didn't mention earlier, it'll say it in the instructions of the pattern, but the exterior piece will have a 1-inch seam allowance for where the band is going to fold over and go. The interior piece will not have that, so it's going to be smaller. Just wanted to kind of point that out, but it'll be in the instructions. And now we're going to go over to the ironing, fun part. So now the ironing part, which is actually kind of the most tedious, the longest part of this. The sewing is really quick once it's done. And again, if you find an easier way, just do it, because at the end of the day, you just want a mask and you just want it to, have as much layering as possible, but whatever works for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to iron on the interfacing first to the interior piece, and lay that down like that. Just going to run the iron over it real quick to get it to stick on. On this other piece. so those pieces are done. And now this is the outer piece. And we're going to fold over the seams to just kind of clean them up and have that's where that 1/4 inch seam allowance is going to come in. So I'm going to lay it wrong facing up. And then this is right facing up. And I'm just going to lay it on here as close as I can down towards this edge here, which is where the face is, you know, the nose and the mouth is going to come into contact with. Okay, so I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to just kind of fold over the edges real quick just to do that. And then another quick fold. You don't even have to do this. You know, you can have a rough edge. It's not the end of the world, but I'd like to have a clean edge. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that. La la la. Try not to burn myself. See how tedious this is? I know. There's got to be a better way. Okay, now I'm gonna fold that over. Okay. All right, so there's that. So this is good. This is essentially one side of the mask, okay? Then this is going to be where we're going to tuck in the elastic. So I did once. I'm going to fold it over one more time, like that. All right. Okay, so this is essentially one side done. So I'm going to finish the other side and then we'll head over to the sewing machine. So we're going to start to sew, but I wanted to point out the elastic I use. I don't know if you can see that. It's just Hobby Lobby. And I think you can use any kind of elastic you want. This is just easier because I tie it in like a little knot right there. And then I'm going to essentially slip it underneath. So underneath here, which is where it's gonna hook, and I'm gonna sew it on in, however it is, okay? I'm gonna lay it underneath there, kind of awkward. Okay, something like that. You kind of get my drift, okay. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and start to sew. Okay, so I just do a simple straight stitch, nothing fancy. I'm just gonna pop it down and I'm just going to sew it as close to the edge. You can do a 1/4 seam. I just like to make sure that I'm sewing this layer to this so it doesn't slip out. So we're just going to go through. I'm going to come up here and then I'm going to go ahead and lift this up, and now I'm going to sew this edge shut so the strap doesn't come out. I'm going to do a double stitch, all right? I'm going to do this edge. Okay. So that's essentially one side. I'm going to go ahead and sew the other side, and then we'll come back and attach them. So now I've sewn both sides. Again, I'm not the best measurer cutter, so you see there's like little areas where it's over. So I just go through and I'm just going to trim that up a little bit so that when I put the two sides together, it's nice and clean. Probably would be better if I was a good measurer, but you know, whatever. I'm old, I can't change. Okay, so just kind of trim that up so that it's nice and even. I'm going to do the same on this side. Shouldn't change too much the overall size of it. It just makes it all cleaned up. Okay. So now they're both sewn. They've got the straps on. I'm going to put them right side facing in. Okay, so the inner part is out like that. Okay. And I'm going to line up just like that. Okay, so it's nice and even on that. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew these together. And then we're done. The sewing part's the fastest, to be honest with you. The cutting and the ironing, that's kind of the longer part. So we're gonna double stitch here. And we're just gonna go quarter seam allowance, sewing on the side. Okay, take that up. And cut all the little stringies off. And then I'm going to trim up again, just so that when they put it in the mouth, it's not all scratchy. So there's, you know, there's a little bit of an edge. You don't want to get too close to the stitch, but, you know, I just kind of want to clean it up just a little bit. Okay. Oh, see, but look, see, I have to sew that again. It happens, people, it happens. See, this is why I call myself a hack sewer. Some of you long-term sewing people out there are laughing. I know, but it's okay, I can handle it. So we're gonna go, there we go. Okay, so I've got both sides, they're sewn together. And now I'm just going to turn it inside out. I'm going to press the edges like this down. Okay, and then voila, you have a mask. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Hope it was my first video. And I hope you guys make a lot of masks because we need it, and it's really surreal that we have to do this, but you know, any way that we can help. And I know for me, it makes me feel a little less helpless and a little less bored being at home. And I love making bright little patterns. So let's protect our nurses and our doctors and every other healthcare worker out there because they're in the trenches, and we love them for that. And we want to keep them healthy. And our elderly and our people and our friends who are getting chemo treatments and are at risk. So it takes a village, and I've always said that. And this is the time we shine. So I hope you all make masks, make lots of them, post them, and we'll see you on the flip side. Thanks, everybody.